Simon Jones, a writer, once said how often the process of construction starts with destruction. Industrialization may be defined as the process of manufacturing consumer as well as capital goods and also of the construction of infrastructure in order to provide the society with goods and services. It is evident that industrialization plays a prime role in the economic enhancement of developing countries like India, which has extensive manpower and diverse resources. The Niti Aayog has laid a major emphasis on industrialization in India. There are several reasons for this move, some of which are the optimum utilization of resources, a stable economic growth, agricultural improvement, and increased exportation. Currently, the world is facing a pandemic which is killing masses. India, being a developing country, is facing many more atrocities as industrialization has been a major part here, due to which the country is facing a massive shortage of oxygen in many regions.
Eco-terrorism affects the economy and industries of India in innumerable ways. For instance, the alarming rate at which the small-scale industries are growing is a major concern. In order to maximize manufacturing output and lack of availability of adequate capital, the small-scale industries are flouting environmental laws in the country. A common trend seen among growing industries is the problem of illegal dumping of waste produced during manufacturing. This results in the exposure of toxic pollutants into the environment, along with the discharge of untreated poisonous chemicals into the air, water, and land. This, in turn, is the result of ineffective environment policies developed by the Pollution Control Board in the country. Lack of environmental consciousness among businessmen and absence of proper checking protocols, coupled with reckless exploitation of limited resources, lead to a serious issue of pollution in India.
Another factor which leads to eco-terrorism is the poor disposal of industrial goods and its byproducts. Manufacturing and processing industries in India produce a great amount of products such as electronics, car parts, plastics, and metals for human consumption, which is increasing at a high rate. The wasted raw materials are casually dumped, resulting in junk piles. The goods which are dumped are often not in a condition of being reused or repaired, which turns into scrap metal. A very small quantity of this waste is recycled to create other commodities.
In India's context, considering the large population of the country is vital. It is true that industrialization makes any country materialistic in its outlook. The journey of the rural India to urban India covers because of the existence of human greediness, which is never ending. The society is under the belief that luxury life and wealth accumulation are the be all and end all of life on earth. With a growing population of 139 crore people, the country's demands for goods is vast and ever increasing. This causes the supply of goods in the country to increase, often at the cost of environmental concerns. Therefore, encouraging manufacturers to produce more, which leads to the growth of consumerism by industry giants. However, in this process, the larger portion of the population whose needs are catered are also the uneducated folks of the country, with 60% of the people below the poverty line. These people are unaware of proper methods of waste disposal. This adds to the pollution in the environment every day.
Industrialization as a socio-economic issue can pose severe threats to the country as a whole. The social problems are faced mostly by the laborers as their working conditions are ghastly in the factories of the industrial sector, which causes emotional and psychological stress not only on them, but in turn their families too. They are treated like slaves in many parts of the world. In reality, industrialization is the way of development for the rich and affluent only. Factory owners generally implement the hire and fire policy, whereby they simply remove workers from employment after getting their job done. Because of extensive industrialization, children are exploited to work for low wages, which they desperately require, and this becomes an obstacle for their human capital development. Even though there have been laws put into place stating that no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or be engaged in any other hazardous employment, child labor still exists in industries in many parts of India.
One of the most common economic problems is pollution, which destroys our environment bit by bit. Industries and factories are one of the causes of air pollution, which directly leads to holes in the ozone layer, global warming, and climate change. These gases and pollutants released contain perilous material and may cause catastrophes like the Bhopal gas tragedy and the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Large scale industrialization brings about new variants of diseases. Illnesses like smallpox, typhoid, and dysentery are the outcomes of industrialization. This impacts the poor man's health and in turn his pockets because treating these diseases is very expensive and the low wages from the industries would not cover the heavy bills.
Industrialization affects the political structure due to the increase of power of the industries, which they later turn them into monopolies. Industries showcase their political supremacy through the military industrial complex by providing weapons of mass destruction to the nation's military in the name of defense. On a global scale, this leads to war profiteering and arms race between countries. There comes the need of Unlawful Activities Prevention Act in India.
Talking about industrialization, many movies have tried to portray the harmful and disastrous effects of the same. For example, in the movie Wall E, we can see that the earth has become a place where no one can survive because of the pollution and waste. In every scene, there are humongous heaps of garbage, and the places where the actual buildings used to be have been turned into structures of garbage. Undoubtedly, this causes pollution and in turn provides us with a glimpse of the future of the world we are currently living in.
Another movie that signifies industrialization is Avatar. In this movie, humans have a battle against nature itself and also nature's protectors, since natural resources have been exhausted on Earth. Hence, mankind tries to expand into a new world called Pandora to use their precious resources. Again, wars and battles cause Pandora to fall into destruction and contamination. One film also provides us with the gist of what our future will be if we continue to industrialize in the same way. Interstellar, one of the known pieces of art by Christopher Nolan, portrays how we will suffer with sand dunes and tornadoes coming throughout the year, causing tremendous demolition, all due to the money minded nature of humans who continue to destroy nature.
People are unaware and have turned a deaf ear to the havoc they bring about just by using the term industrialization in their lives until it's too late. Dr. Seuss has done his best to make people realize what damaging consequences does building new factories and cutting down trees have on the world through the means of his book, The Lorax, which was meant for children but gives a deep rooted message. One of the main characters, Onceler, being blindsided by money, does the same even after many requests to save trees, and at the end regrets his actions as he loses everything. Even in other languages like Hindi, Muqtada Hasan Nida Fazli has written in one of his poems about Mumbai, where people have constructed countless buildings and box type houses which covers up nature, and in return nature fights back, causing threat to human life. In conclusion, the complexity of ecological warfare is a long lasting problem in India. To overcome these obstacles, India will have to implement its environmental laws in a systematic way and will have to spread more awareness about proper disposal of waste through social media campaigns and viral video challenges. A change in the attitude of the citizens is vital. Such a change will help to reduce the complications of eco terrorism in the country. One aspect that the government should consider is shifting attention and importance to eco industrial development, which is improving industrialization while reducing its impact on the environment. Site selection for industrial activities away from forest areas, or at least compensation offered through the practice of afforestation in those areas cleared for the industries, can control the degradation of the environment. Compensation on a global scale in the present times can be even in the simplest form by providing a sapling to individuals after they receive their vaccination. Most of these steps are voluntary and would be successful only with constant support from the government. As a result, if industrial development can be increased while environmental sustainability is maintained, a balance can be restored.